Hi friends, my name is Chaitanya Patke and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to take a look at the preview of the fourth test which is going to take place tomorrow onwards at the Jharkhand State Cricket Association Stadium in Ranchi, the hometown of the great Mahendra Singh Dhoni, between India and England. As we know that India comfortably thrashed England by 434 runs in the third test at Rajkot, and India go into this test match as clear favourite, but it will be foolish from our part to underestimate England, and the bats ball concept with all its flaws has actually revolutionized test cricket, and with we can underestimate England at our own peril. Talking about the pitch, Team India has decided to make the pitch similar to that of Rajkot because we have got the template now. If we bat first, we aim for 450 to 475. Afterwards, our spinner or the fast bowler start taking control of the test match with crucial innings in the middle, and hopefully we can establish a lead of 100 to 150 runs. Afterwards, the attacking display of our batsmen in the second innings, and then we can set England a target of 350 to 400, or anything above 300 on Indian pitches is always going to be tricky because the pitch is going to break at the start of the fourth day or in the middle of the fourth day. So until then, England batsmen have to bat out, and we know that the in the baseball ideology actually there is no emphasis on saving the test match. Either it is we are going for the target, we can win or create history, or we can go down as we did in Rajkot, but there will be no second measures or no second thoughts in the minds of the head coach Brandon McCallum as well as the English skipper Ben Stokes that baseball is the way to go. But does this concept fit other players? We will see in this review. First of all, we will analyze the visitors, the England team. Both their openers, Zach Crawley as well as Ben Duckett, has been in fine form. The issue with both of them that they weren't be able to start the start that they gave England. They weren't able to accelerate themselves or make a big score so that they could benefit, as well as England was in a strong position. But that was nullified in the third test when Ben Duckett scored a magnificent 150 runs. But afterwards, he got run out on just 4 runs. So that remains the challenge for Ben Duckett as well as Zach Crawley to some extent, that convert their starts into big scores. At number 3, Oli Pope has also flattered to deceive after his memorable 196 in the second innings of the first test in Hyderabad. He needs to work on his technique against the spin bowlers. He is comfortably at home facing fast bowlers, especially, but he has the threat from Jasprit Bumrah, who yorked him brilliantly in the second test match. Reports are that Jasprit Bumrah is going to miss the fourth test match due to the workload management. We have to take into consideration that he has bowled more than 80 overs, and he's coming from a career threatening injury, so it is very essential and very necessary for Jasprit Bumrah as well as Team India's prospect in the longer run. We have to also keep in mind that IPL is just round the corner, so a well deserved rest to Jasprit Bumrah will be given by the team management. It is 99.9% clear according to my sources as well. So Oli Pope as well as the Joe Root, the former English skipper who has more than 11,000 test runs but unfortunately is yet to par a 100 run mark in the 6 innings he has batted. He has faced a horrendous series, and if Oli Pope can get himself in, so can Joe Root, because his prime nemesis Jasprit Bumrah is going to miss the fourth test match. So mentally, one block is less for Joe Root, and hopefully whenever a bad ball is there, we have to put it away, no doubt about it. But if others around Joe Root can play baseball, he can. I'm not saying that he should go into his shell completely, which he used to do before baseball, but that was his necessity because other English batsmen were so important, and they weren't in form, that he had to held one, and some resistance was provided by Ben Stokes down the order sometimes, but otherwise Joe Root was all alone. But that approach seemed to work with Joe Root. Before baseball, he scored 9,000 test runs at an average of more than 50. So it is not as if that Joe Root is completely at sea. It is very refreshing to see the change in mindset that he has. But the shot that he played of Jasprit Bumrah in the third test match was criticized, rightly so, because although he has had success executing that shot in the past, at what juncture the play was. India was one bowler short of Ravichandran Ashwin. Ravindra Jadeja's overs were managed by captain Rohit Sharma due to Jadeja's return from an injury. So if he had the old Joe Root surfaced, he could have easily scored 100 to 150 run, and the result of the test match match might have been very different, or at least the margin at which England lost could have been very smaller as well. But what is in the past, he has the backing from the team management, which is very important. And hopefully, from England's perspective, both Oli Pope as well as Joe Root turn out tomorrow. There has been a lot of heat on Johnny Bairstow as well. He has completely flopped in this series, but I mentioned in my previous games review that in the first two test matches, despite the fact of scoring not many runs, he actually looked at home. His technique was pretty perfect, his foot movement was immaculate as well. Just a matter of one innings for Johnny Bairstow to get back into his old form, but that wasn't to be the case in the third innings, and his old demons against the spinners resurfaced. Brendan McCullum has reiterated in the press conference that he is not blind, but he is expected Johnny Bairstow to play a big innings sooner rather than later. If Johnny Bairstow is selected, it will be his 99th test match, and as of now, the team management is not looking towards Dan Lawrence as the replacement of Johnny Bairstow. So, all in all, confidence has been given by the England team management. Now it is up to the Johnny Bairstow to reward his faith, which was shown in him by the head coach as well as the English skipper Ben Stokes. In terms of England spinners, they were all over the place, but according to their experience, they have held on pretty well, because as we know that most of them don't even have the cumulative experience of playing 50 first class games, but they have to work on their line length, speed as well, because you quickly get found out. Even if you are off the mark by an inch, the Indian batsman will take you to the cleaners, and that's what happened in the third test. Tom Hartley has flattered to deceive since his magnificent 7th wicket haul in the second innings of the first test. Rehan Ahmed is not consistent at all. He is completely haywire, and Shoaib Bashir actually played well in the second test match, but he was dropped due to the incoming Mark Wood, who performed brilliantly well. So I don't envision the place of Shoaib Bashir. It will be interesting to see, due to the workload management, if James Henderson plays the fourth test match or not. In all likelihood, he should play, but even if England rest him, that is not going to be the issue, because they can play one extra spinner in Shoaib Bashir instead of James Anderson. And hopefully Jimmy plays and completes his milestone of 700 wickets, I beg your pardon. He will be the first bowler in the history of test cricket to get that milestone, and hopefully it happens on the shores of India. Even though as an India supporter, it will be good to support an all-time legend like James Anderson. Now coming to the Indian team, openers Yashasvi Jaiswal is in the form of his life, and the same is expected from him going into the fourth test match as well as the fifth, that he continues on his merry run as long as possible and India benefits. So does his career. Other issue with Team India is the form of batsman Rajat Patidar, who has not fired due to some unusual dismissals or due to the mistake of his own. So he needs to buckle up. But if he doesn't perform in this test match, that could well be the end of Rajat Patidar's test career. Because as we know that the competition for places in Team India is so intense that 4 consecutive failures in test series is certainly going to doom his career. He will be in a lots of pressure. He also knows it himself, but he needs to back himself and play his natural aggressive attacking game and not go into the shell against the English spinners, which saw unnecessarily he gives respect to the English spinners, where actually bad balls also he played with the defensive mindset, and sometimes that costed his wicket. So I think he should not commit the same mistakes. Skipper Rohit Sharma came roaring back to form in the third test with a magnificent century. Hopefully he carries on this form. If we get at least a 70-80 run partnership right at the onset, then the whole tempo of the match will be set. As we know that Virat Kohli is not going to play due to the birth of his son. Congratulations to him. He will miss the 4th and 5th time to spend time with his family. So Rajat Patidar actually gets an extra chance. Sarfaraz Khan had a dream debut. He grabbed his opportunity with both his hands, and he will look to continue in the same vein. Hopefully get his first test 100. Who knows, if that happens, that would be excellent. Dhruv Jurel is going to be the wicket keeper for that fourth test. Not only with the bat, he impressed one and all with his wicket keeping skills as well. Very silky hands, excellent hands. He has a good technique of collecting the ball. does the stumping as well, and it he actually reminds me little bit of Ridhiman Saha, who was a world class wicket keeper in his own right. So that template is set. Indian batting is covered. No issues with that. The problem will be with Shubman Gill though. He has flattered to deceived as well. Just like Zach Rowley, he actually gets the starts, but after one innings, two bad innings comes, and then again he scores. He was very unfortunate to miss out on a well-deserved 100 in the third Test match. He got run out due to the mix-up with Kuldeep Yadav. It was Kuldeep Yadav's mistake, but hopefully we will see Shubman Gill, who is in full flight in Ranchi. Talking about the Indian spinners, Ravindra Jadeja, Kuldeep Yadav as well as Ravichandran Ashwin are going to be the part of the playing 11. Jasprit Bumrah is going to be rested, so Mohammad Siraj will carry on the duty of the main fast bowler. It will be interesting to see if Team India brings in Akshar Patel in case of Jasprit Bumrah. I think they should do that change because Mukesh Kumar has been released to play Ranji Trophy for West Bengal. Now it will be interesting to see at what combination Teams India takes to the field with Ranchi. So all in all, promising and enticing contest in Ranchi. India clearly have the upper hand, but as I said at the start of my video, it will be very foolish to write England off. And if England win the toss and choose to bat first, they might have have a chance. So Indian bowlers have to buckle up their belts because now we are going to miss Jasprit Bumrah and his excellent services as well as his cricketing brain. So the captaincy of Rohit Sharma becomes even more important in such crucial situations. But I am sure he will be well supported by our world class spinners. So how did you like my preview of the fourth Test match? Please tell me in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for further notifications. We'll meet in the next video. Till then everyone, bye, and once again don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.